Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to another video from the Scholar Science College platform. And in today's lecture, we will discuss some of the linguistics terms named as literary terms. Student, have you ever wondered why some of the poetic lines remembered in our heart throughout our lives? Just because the writer, the author has used them in an accurate manner. For example, I would like to quote the example from John Keats. He says, "A thing of beauty is joy forever." Whenever we read the poetry, the prose, the drama, and the fiction, some of the lines, words stick to our hearts. Dear students, from the platform of the Scholar Science College, we would like to discuss our topic, subject, that is literary term. Well, some of you and many of you know about the literary terms, poetic devices, stylistic devices. Some of you have been studying or reading in your textbook in your poetry as well. So what comes in your mind when the word literary term come in your mind? Just think about it. Why the writer, the author, the poet, the poetess have used these terms in their respective writings? Now, we will define and see what are literary terms. Coming to the board, literary terms are basically stylistic devices used by the poet, authors, and writers to convey the deeper meanings to the audience and readers. For example, as I have written on the board, literary terms are devices, techniques, and concepts used by the writers to convey a deeper, meaningful effects on the readers. This is what we call literary term. Now, literary terms have been divided on the basis of certain things. For example, some of literary terms based on sounds, some of literary terms based on contrast, some of literary terms based on comparison, some of literary terms based on reference, and some of literary terms based on sound as well. As I have written on the board, when we talk about literary terms on sound, 2 to 3 literary terms come into our mind. For example, alliteration, assonance, onomatopoeia. These are based on sounds. When we talk about repetition is come into our mind, anaphora. Then there is a comparison based literary devices, literary terms, which are simile and metaphor. Then there is contrast based literary terms, which are antithesis and oxymoron. And next, reference based literary terms is allusion. We are going to discuss these literary terms in our today's lecture. Connect with us, stay with us. Our first literary term that we are going to explain, that is called allusion. This is allusion. This is Greek word allusion. It means to hint at. It means to hint at, allude. It is an indirect reference. Allusion is an indirect reference to a powerful person, place, and event of the history. In allusion, a writer, a poet, an author try to give us an indirect reference. Why and what it answers? Allusion answers what is referred and why it's referred. Example, look at the example. He met his Waterloo in the final match. Waterloo is an indirect reference to Napoleon Bonaparte. He was defeated at this place named as Waterloo. So therefore, he met his Waterloo in the final match. It means it is a crushing defeat which is indirectly referred to Napoleon Bonaparte's defeat at the place of Waterloo. So, allusion, the writer is using indirect reference from a powerful indirect reference, well-known place, Waterloo. In the second example, she has the Midas touch. So in Greek mythology, Midas, she has the capacity, whatever and whichever she touches, it turns into gold. So here, well-known person, Midas, is having indirect reference. So allusion, it is indirect reference from past, person, place, and well-known event as well. So Waterloo is a well-known past place. So Midas as well. So when the writer and the poet try to give us an indirect reference from past, so this is called allusion. I think you have a clear concept of allusion now. Our second literary term that I am going to explain it to you is called anaphora. Anaphora, what is an anaphora? Basically, it is a Greek word again. What does mean Greek word? Carrying back. Carrying back. Anaphora means carrying back. Anaphora is the repetition of words or phrases in a successive lines to carry back, carrying back. For example, as Martin Luther King Jr. said in his famous speech, I have dreamed. I have dreamed that one day. I have dreamed that. I have dreamed. So, these words in successive line, in the beginning of successive lines, indicate anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is a Greek word. It carrying back. It comes in the starts in the beginning of the line, successive lines. The example is, I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. So these three words, these three lines in the beginning, these successive lines in the beginning of the sentence indicate anaphora. Now the third one, that is antithesis. Anti means contrast, opposite, opposite. Antithesis mean idea or composition. So antithesis means opposite ideas. Opposite ideas. So antithesis places two opposite ideas side by side, usually in a parallel structure. parallel structure. So antithesis must have a contrast idea in a parallel structure. For example, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. This is the example. Look at it. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. Another example, it was the best of time, it was the worst of time. So these two examples indicate contrast ideas having parallel structure. Moving to next one, aphorism. Aphorism basically contains wisdom words, statement, general truth, general principles. Aphorism, short statement that expresses general truth, general principle. For example, look at the example, actions speak louder than words. Action speaks louder than words. So these example. Another example, all that glitters is not gold. So in the aphorism, there is a general statement and general truth. Next, apostrophe. Apostrophe, please don't make it wrong with punctuation apostrophe. This is literary term apostrophe. In apostrophe, a writer, a poet, a poetess, an author try to say someone or something that is absent, to address absent person, an idea. Look at the example. O death, where is thy sitting? O death, where is thy sitting? So in this line, the poet is going to address death, an abstract, an absent. So when you are directly addressing a person, an idea who are absent, example, O death, where is thy setting? Another example, O Qaid-e-Azam, where are you? You must be living at the present. Look, we are addressing Qaid-e-Azam who is not present in, so we are directly addressing. When you have directly addressing, you are using apostrophe. Assonance. Assonance is a literary term. It means repetition of vowel sound. When you repeat vowel sound in nearby words, so you are using assonance. For example, the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. If we look at the example in, here are vowel sound repeat. So when vowel sounds are repeating, you are using assonance. Next, simile. Simile is a comparison between two things using as and like. Comparison of two things using as and like. For example, life is like a box of chocolate. We are comparing life with box of chocolate using like. Therefore, it is a simile. Next is metaphor. It is a comparison between two unlike things, however, without using as and like. It is a comparison between two unlike things without using as and like. For example, time is money. Time is money. So time is being compared with money. All the worlds are stage. Worlds and stage. We compare the world with stage. Next is alliteration. Repetition of consonant sound in the beginning of the words. Repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of the words. For example, look at this example. Peter kapi, pepper kapi, picked kapi, peck kapi, pickled kapi, and peppers kapi. So this sound is repeating in the initial of the words. Next one is personification. We personify human qualities or human action to non-humans. When we give human qualities or human actions to non-human, we are basically personifying. Example, the wind whispered through the trees. The wind whispered through the trees. So this is the example of personification. Now the last but not the least in this lecture is about transitional devices. What are transitional devices? Transitional devices connect ideas, paragraphs, sentences, clauses, phrases and words to convey, to guide the reader. There are different kinds of transitional devices present in the text, and on the basis of and the kinds, the first is addition, transitional device of addition, transitional device of contrast, transitional device of sequence, transitional device of example, and so on. Look at some of the words I have written on the board. Furthermore, moreover, additionally, because. These are transitional, some of the transitional devices. Example, he went because he was invited. Look at the example, because. This is transitional word. So it is going to transit between this clause and this clause. So he went because he was invited. Because he was invited. So because is a transitional word. Student, in today's lecture, we have learned about what are literary terms, basis of classification of literary terms, and some of literary terms in detail I have explained into you. For example, allusion, an indirect reference, anaphora, repetition of the words in successive lines, antithesis, contrast idea, aphorism, general truth, apostrophe, addressing a person directly who is absent or idea, assonance, repetition of vowel sound, simile, comparison using as in like, metaphor, again comparison without as in like, alliteration, repetition of consonant sound, initial stages, personification, giving human qualities to non-human, and the last one is transitional devices. Thank you so very much. If you have any question, regarding this lecture, you can write directly to us and we will respond to you, your query, your question and your doubt. I hope this lecture will give you some of the depth of knowledge regarding literary terms. Thank you.